this morning I've gotten up really early before dawn and come into Chiang Mai because today is the annual Flower Festival parade. It's always a fun thing to come to early because this is when the people are still getting ready, they're still preparing, and it's just a great time to walk around and get some photographs. I've got freedom to move, there's hardly anyone around still except for the performers, except for the people that are taking part, and so I'm just coming down to have a look to get some photographs and show you what it's all about. Parades are all about floats and marching bands and colour and activity, and for sure there's plenty of that at the Chiang Mai Flower Parade. And again this year they have really done an astounding job of producing some incredible displays of floral floats. Even the tractors are dressed up with flowers, fabulous orchids. I'm just making my way through the streets and looking at what's here and looking for interesting people and interesting things to photograph, interesting little bits of activity going on. But first of all, taking a walk and having a look, just being observant, seeing what's happening, seeing who's here, seeing the type of floats that there are and the type of costumes and things like that. So yeah, just getting a general overview of things and capturing the atmosphere. I made my way up onto the Nawarat Bridge and found a band to photograph. Up here on the bridge where there's no buildings blocking the light, I've got this beautiful sunlight to work with. This early morning light just is magic, but it's also quite challenging. So I'm just looking for interesting things. I like the instruments just laid down on the pavement there. This guy with his big sousaphone, I think you call it. And they're just waiting, they're just hanging out, chatting to each other, waiting for the parade to start. So it's a great time for me to be walking around with my camera, getting some photographs, enjoying this beautiful, warm, rich morning light in Chiang Mai City. Just catching situations like this where somebody is taking a photograph, there's a group of students posing, and I'll just come in from the side and catch an alternate view of the same image. Just looking around, looking for a gap to get through. It's pretty busy, it's a lot of people up here on the bridge, and just find my way through just to keep looking. Now come on over to the other side here and see what the light's like from this side. I'll go back because the band is great, they're so colourful. I love their costumes and their pink feather dusters on their caps or whatever they are. They just add a real flourish. Catch some students posing a little bit, it's always fun to take a picture, even though it's probably never going to be much, but it's just a nice little bit of interaction and connection with these kids. So I'm looking at the light here, looking at strong backlight. It's very difficult to deal with to really get good pictures other than silhouettes, but it's kind of too busy. There's too much going on in a single frame to make a strong silhouette, so I'll come back and then look back in the other direction, catch these two having a chat where the light's nice. And then I find there's always going to be a poser that's worth taking a photo of. And so as I'm walking, I'm just constantly looking and watching out for what's going on, for interesting activity, for interesting faces and people and backgrounds. So background's always important. If the background's no good or if the lighting's no good, I'm more inclined to move on. Let's have a look at these ladies here, see if we can get a nice portrait. They're framed beautifully by this row of flowers in front of them and a couple of great smiles. Thank you, ladies. As I'm walking, I'm thinking about the lighting, I'm thinking about the people around me, thinking about how I can frame an interesting composition, where the light's right, where everything's good, where the background's not too busy or not too distracting. I like the look of these young ladies with these quite fabulous costumes, so pop round the other side so she's got some sunlight on her face, get my settings right, and there she's really posing away already. She's not missing a beat, this young lady. Very lovely. I'll show her the picture so she can see how gorgeous she is, and she's happy with that, and it's time to move on. It's fantastic. So love the confidence of these young kids, and I think it's a big part of it is because we're living in a digital age that people are so much more used to being photographed because everybody's got a camera on their cell phone. So these kids are they've probably been coached, yeah, you're going to get photographed, but just relax and smile and enjoy it. Maybe they weren't coached, maybe this is just completely natural because of the day and age that we're living in, and because they're dressed up and looking fantastic. Sure, they're going to want a picture taken or two. And I just keep moving down and looking, seeing what's here. Always love the Samoa and how these three-wheeled tricycle taxis get used in the parades. They're such an integral part of the Chiang Mai history and culture, and I've always enjoyed photographing them. Didn't actually see any of the guys, the riders that we know. We've made friends with some of them, we've got contacts with some of them. Didn't see many of them down there this morning, but just nice to see the action and see that they're being involved, even if their passengers are quite disengaged from the atmosphere and what's happening around them. So back to some more of the floats, there's no imagination spared and detail and just covered in so many flowers. I can't imagine the amount of work that goes into creating these and the hours of teamwork that must be so carefully planned and coordinated to get them looking fantastic. More decorated tractors and photographers. There's lots of photographers down here, and for good reason. I can see why. That's why I'm down here, because it's just amazing. So much opportunity, so much activity, so many people just looking fantastic, costumed up to the max and just having a great time and enjoying themselves. Here's the float from Bantawai, which is a wood carving and furniture making village nearby. I've always got a float in the parade, looking magnificent again, and a line of young hostesses to lead the way for it. Just sort of dancing through the sidewalks and around the people and seeing what I'm looking to capture. Who's there, what are they doing, who looks great. Time for an orange juice? No, but let's come and see what we've got here. This looks like a band themed on the fantastic TV series Money Heist. If you don't know the show, it was based around a criminal group that their trademark was red jumpsuits and Dali masks. Started taking some photos, but then decided to pop the little action camera that I've got off and start exploring a bit more with it, because the activity here is so good. These kids are so focused on what they're doing. My little camera can get pretty tight and close and they're hardly noticing me or not noticing me at all. And it's just a lot of fun to play with. So just moving around, getting a little bit of interaction from some of the kids, trying to stay out of their way, but also just trying to get the best images that I can. So just exploring where I can be and where the light's going to be good. Some of them are in the shade, some of them are catching some of the sun. Found these two guys here playing the drums and still going. The rest of the band's taking a bit of a break, but they were practicing some and working something out. So again, just enjoying the situation and working with this little new action camera that I've got to get in really close. That beautiful morning light is pretty challenging. Catch the sun coming from the wrong angle, and that really is a challenge to any camera and to any photographer. Then over on the next little clear piece of lawn, there was a flag troop with their rainbow flags preparing for their part in the parade and just running through their routines. So it's a cool time just to be able to come in reasonably close. I don't want to get too close to them because I don't want to get whacked by a flagpole and disrupt their routine, so close enough. And just fun to try and catch the best single frames with my Nikon camera. And in any situation like this where you've got such an amount of movement, it's a kind of a combination of observing and watching what's happening and seeing how they're moving the flags and when they look their best, and looking at where the light is and trying to capture backlighting in those flags, but at the same time not wanting to get a complete silhouette. So just check the exposures, looking at the flags in different positions, and then move around a bit more to have a look at what other angles I might try and capture, and then just finding a good spot and taking lots of photos. Because of the action, the movement, it's very difficult to predict when I've got the best frame. So it's one of the joys of digital, just being able to take plenty of photographs in a burst. But generally when I'm photographing something like this, I'm not using the burst mode in the camera so much as just single frame or slow continuous, but I'm still planning each photograph. It's not just firing away and hoping I'll catch something. I'm always watching the activity, watching the movement, and aiming to do the best I can with the single images. Now I've moved back up into the street and found another marching band. These ones are not quite so colourful, but they make a great spectacle nonetheless. So I've pulled out my little Lumix video camera to record some alternative clips to edit in here like this. So it isn't such a wide angle, it gives a different sort of a perspective on what's happening. Now, there's a lot of kids playing instruments and really thinking and taking part in this creative activity. It's great to see. A lot of discipline, a lot of practice to get this so polished and looking so good and sounding so good. They do a fantastic job. Again, it must take hours and hours of hard work to pull this off and to really build it up into something that is a great performance. I have no idea how long they've been practicing for this, but it's exciting to see that this is the beginning of their parade. This is the big moment that they've been working at for a long, long time, and they are off to give it their all and give it their best to entertain the crowds of people that are no doubt lining Taipei Road and all the way down around the moat to the park, which is where the parade will finish up down in the southwest corner of the moat. The band's moved on, so it's time for me to move as well, and I'll just head back down to the main road. Make a right turn here, if I can find my way through. and just pay some more attention to some of these floats, catch a little bit more close-up video to show you the detail here with the beautiful arrangements of flowers and umbrellas, just looking magnificent. Then I come on back down, walking back to more people who are waiting. They're just taking their turn, wait for the band to turn the corner and move down, and the parade is very much a stop-start affair, so no doubt these ones close to the bridge will be moving soon, and then they'll be on their way down Taipei Road and around to the moat.
ไม่ว่าจะเป็นประตูท่าแพสวนดอกไม้ที่สวยงามและเรายังได้นำรถตุ๊กๆขึ้นมาบนรถไม้ดอกไม้ประดับด้วย
I just spotted this young lady sitting there with the backlight coming through her umbrella, so I decided to put my video camera away and pull out the Nikon again and take some photographs. She was quite comfortable being there, sitting there posing for me, but the light was pretty tricky, so just checking my exposure, checking my angle, changed my angle slightly, come up a little bit higher and around to my left so that I wasn't getting that sun directly in the face. Show her the picture, always lovely smile, pretty little girl. Show it to mum or auntie, whoever she is, thank them, and then just carry on. Then seeing this little bit of activity, camera in hand, so take the photograph of the photograph being taken. Some nice natural activity happening there. It's always great to be able to get those candid sort of moments in a parade where so many of the people are costumed up and they're ready to be photographed, they're aware of you and they're posing. So I'm always looking for those little snippets of candid moments, those nice little natural moments to make more photographs that are not so posed or just feeling a little bit more natural. And sometimes that's a matter of getting one that's kind of posed or very posed and then just waiting for the activity to change or look like I'm moving on a little bit to give them the idea that thank you of taking your photograph. So this young lady was not really directly looking at the camera, got a nice couple of frames of her, and then she was looking straight at me and posing nicely, quite relaxed, quite comfortable, very gorgeous in her costume there, and the light was nice on her, so got some nice images. Again, show her the pictures and say thank you, but just still paying attention to what's happening there and the activity, because the costumes are pretty amazing. And as she was looking away, I just managed to capture another candid photo. She wasn't aware, or if she was aware that I was there, but she wasn't looking straight at me. And then this guy came and fixed the costume up a bit, and it's a nice little bit of activity there. So I captured a few frames of that happening as well, and got some nice pictures. So a couple of nice candid images, some posed ones. So within the space of a couple of minutes, I've got some lovely images. I think some of the kids are having a long wait, they may be getting a bit fidgety or a bit bored with it, but most of them are just so well behaved and just so chill about it. I'm sure they're pretty excited to be there in front of all these photographers, all these people. And I've just got to patiently wait for the time that the parade will move on and they'll be able to really enjoy the atmosphere of walking through the streets of Chiang Mai. So a few more Samoa here, it's always lovely to see them being included in the parade. And then more floats, these are the floats that now have moved up onto the bridge. There's some instructions being given here, quite sternly but with encouragement. That strong backlight is challenging my little camera. It's not really adjusting as well as it should do, but not too bad for a tiny little action cam. So around this side where you've got the light behind me, that beautiful sunlight is just magnificent. And just making the way up to where the parade will start, the head of the parade, back to the marching band again. These kids just waiting patiently. It looks like these guys are going to be the first out of the starting blocks once the parade is moving. So quite an honour, I'm sure, to be the first band in the parade. A spectacular morning in Chiang Mai. It's wonderful, it's quite cool, beautiful light, beautiful sunshine, so many fabulously dressed people and beautifully adorned floats. And it looks like this is the end of my walk. Thanks for watching.